WIIFTV PM.
WIIFTBP. Media's just for you and me. WIIFTBP. Media's just for you and me.
Oh, baby. I mean, I know that you're here with me and everything, but since you just left a few hours ago, I've just been going crazy. And I done come to realize one thing. Oh, baby, I miss you. Must be some kind of drug, baby, 'cause it just keeps on calling me, and I just need a hit of your love. It's got me shaking and feeling for your touch. Baby, of you I can't get enough. It feels like I done OD'd on you, babe. I'm addicted for you. Can't stop loving 'cause I can't get enough of you, babe. 'Cause I'm so addicted to you. This must be love. 'Cause I can't get enough of your love. I'm so addicted. Can't stop. I need you right now, baby. 'Cause I'm so addicted to you. You're always on my mind, my mind, my mind, every day.
Yo, what's going on, y'all? Welcome to another episode of the In the Zone podcast. It's your man, B. Foster. Brian's in the building. I reversed that this week. I usually do it the other way. So, you never know what's happening here. Welcome to the What's in It for the Black People media. It's Wednesday at 7 o'clock. You all already know it's about to go down. And if you're looking on your screens, and I know you are, you see who my guests in studio are. So you already know it's about to be a problem. How y'all feeling today?
I feel fantastic, Brian. How do you feel today?
I am good.
I might need another cup or whatever.
I definitely
just
think
a
you
cup
will.
Of cold water.
That's all. That's a little something to wash it down.
Something to wash it down.
It'd be better if I get another one.
We'll hook you up, brother.
About that
we'll
before
hook
you
you
walked
up.
in here into the dungeon of doom.
On my right,
What's her face?
you all know her. She is the voice of Chicago. My girl. Fuck Chicago, the voice of the world.
Come on, voice of the world.
Fucking worldwide. I'm not going to make you local in this
You
month.
say it, I claim it. Yes.
My girl, Miko Monroe. What's happening, baby?
Hi.
How are you?
I'm back.
You're
Y'all
back.
have like the studio applause around here?
Yeah, that's okay. You can give me some studio applause. I'll take that.
How you been?
I'm good. I have no complaints.
There we
Come
go.
on.
There we go. There we
Thank
go.
you, Ryan.
There we go. Working the magic board back there.
I told Ron to wash my hair because I knew he was going to be here.
Oh,
So now I got studio applause.
here we go.
Y'all are welcome.
Jesus Christ. Sorry I brought you back. Anyway. And on my left, my man 50 grand. Y'all know this man. This brother's been doing events in Chicago, running restaurants. I think he's gonna run for mayor one day. I think he just buying his time.
Yeah, no, I think they
I
do
don't think
background
you can.
checks.
I was gonna say, I don't think he can.
You don't think he can?
No, I don't think I
Ron
can.
made it.
Have you ever met him? But have you ever met him?
It's different between me and Rom, though.
Yeah, he definitely.
There's a lot of bots that scrub your shit nowadays.
Yeah, that's true.
My boy Jeff
scrubbing,
Eden.
though, man. That's a lot of
That's a lot of
That's
scrub.
a
What's
lot of
happening, brother?
scrubbing. I don't
I'm
think
good,
Mr.
I'm
Clean
good.
gonna be able to do it.
Really?
Yeah, no.
I think you
Mary
misrepresenting
ain't
my
got no
boy.
real
right
power,
now.
no way. So
Just, figurehead.
that's it.
Hey,
That's it.
Get
We
your own
pull those
security.
strings.
Get security detail.
Yeah,
You'll be fine.
absolutely.
I'm getting this live in a couple of places, y'all. Excuse my distraction, but hey, so we gonna get this cracking today. It's an interesting topic. A few people told me not to touch this. I said I'm definitely touching it. Then you fucking crazy. Of course, I'm gonna talk about it. Then we are gonna talk about infidelity, and we're gonna start off.
Wait, I thought this was about fidelity.
Oh, you meant like fiscal?
We were
Yeah.
not talking about fiduciary things. That was.
I mean,
not
we can
the-
talk about that when it
I'm
comes
at
to
the
your.
wrong show. Then.
Yeah.
Well, you got to wing it there, brother.
Black men don't cheat.
Black. Let's start there. Black men do not cheat. Let's just put that out
So what's
there.
your actual nationality?
So, Kablasian.
Exactly.
Did you just
Louisiana.
Tiger me?
That's right. That's right. Black men don't cheat.
West Siding.
But of all this,
What Sidian? What Sidian?
That's it.
You
That's
West
it. This
but
Sidian?
all these other races, I don't know. We can talk about them, but we're gonna put that
That's so
out
funny.
out front. Black men don't cheat.
Oh God.
Well, let's define cheating and infidelity anyway, just so we can have a baseline for where you're coming from when we talk about this. Have this conversation when we get into the deep dive of the questions.
Fair enough.
So, Miko, when we say infidelity, what exactly does that even mean?
Anything that's not fidelity.
What's that mean? You got to be more specific than that.
Okay. Are we talking about dating? We're talking about marriage. Are we breaking? I mean, because if we're breaking this whole thing down, I have some unpopular opinions, and I have some. This is what it's supposed to be opinions.
Let's start
Let's
with dating.
Okay. Dating non-exclusively, you cannot cheat.
Wait,
There is
you
no
just
such
broke it
thing.
down again.
No, I didn't.
Dating and now dating non-exclusively
That's two different-
versus dating exclusively.
So here's my definition of dating.
Okay.
Right? If we're going out on a date and you're like, oh, you asked me out, it is not necessarily to say that I'm not going out on dates with somebody else, right?
Sure.
Okay.
Until the thing has here's the thing, communication, right? Until you get to a space where you're like, it's just us and we're doing that, I'm free to do what I want.
So you're taking the word dating in a very literal sense. We're just going out on dates.
Going out on a date.
Yeah,
Well, some people, when they say
Spend some money.
dating, they
And
mean
and that's why I'm saying if
Yeah.
we're gonna go, let's
All right.
let's start at the
All right,
top.
so if we're just dating and we're not exclusive, you're free to do what you want. Bet.
Yeah.
If we're dating and we are exclusive, but we're not married,
But we're not married. I just think it's open conversation though. Like, you know what I mean? Like there are different, like women think differently about this stuff because like when you start to go into like intimacy and stuff like that, it's a little more complicated for us, I think personally. It's just, you know. So even I'm one of these people, like even if I'm saying
You're
like
one of these complicated people. Let me
I'm
make
really
this
not.
shit
know,
easy.
she's right.
I'm really not. I'm really even if I'm saying okay, this is what it is because that's how I really believe. It doesn't always mean that that's what I'm doing, right? Mm-hmm. But my option is there,
okay.
so I could literally just be we hang out a lot, right? I like it here. I have other stuff to do with my brain. I like the conversations we have. What am I doing otherwise? It doesn't necessarily mean that I'm putting that on you.
Okay,
Because
that's why
we're
we
just
don't know what the
dating.
hell. That's why we don't know when we cheating or not. So let's make it real easy.
This is what I'm saying.
Jeff, jump in here.
Let's make it easy.
This is what I'm. This is why I said start at the top.
Two very easy definitions don't require no top, no bottom. They side by side, right? Infidelity is anything that we didn't agree that if we agreed not to do something and I do it, that's infidelity, right? That's
exactly.
number one, right? Number two is doing anything that I think you wouldn't want me to do if you were present. That's also infidelity. That's it, right? Doing something we didn't agree to or said we weren't going to do specifically, and or doing something that I know if you were there, even if we never talked about it, I know you well enough to be able to say, damn, she would not approve of this. That would be infidelity.
I think it's the same. I think your first definition is the definition. Mutually exclusive. Having a conversation where you have decided to do certain things and be on a certain level with a person.
But we could strip that mutually exclusive stuff, right?
But
I'm
I'm just breaking down your words.
Mutually exclusive were never a part of my words, right? Because we don't have to be that in order to say, I'm not going to do this because I'm having a relationship with you. I might also be having a relationship with somebody else. And you might know about that because guess what? As a part of the rule is I'm going to tell you what I'm doing. Now, You can choose at the very beginning of our relationship to say, well, damn, if you dating other people, I don't want to date you. Okay, that's cool. But if you sign up for what I'm signing up for, and we agree that that's what it's going to be,
then it's not infidelity.
Exactly, right?
I think
Literally
that's
what I said when I started.
No, I think you're both right, right? I think
that's literally what I said.
I don't know
when I
what
started.
there was a lot of twists and turns of what you said, but I think that's exactly right. I think you both are saying if we have a conversation up front
And we know what's
and
happening.
we set the parameters, as long as we stay within those parameters, it's not technically infidelity. Now somebody might say, "Girl, I saw him at the club with some other girl." She be
Okay,
like,
cool. Why you in my business?
"Why you in my business?"
And guess what? That cuts across whether you dating, you marry, you dating exclusive,
Oh,
not
yeah.
exclusive.
Yeah.
It doesn't even matter.
Yeah.
You can,
Yeah.
as long as y'all agree or agree not to do certain things, there it is.
Do you, boo? Just have the conversation before
That's
you
it.
do it.
That's it.
All right.
Just have the conversation before you. Don't have me out here looking stupid.
So why don't we,
That's the
if we all agree, and that seems very simple, and we're of a certain age also, so this is
Yeah.
you know, we a certain maturity here. But why don't people just do this up front all the time?
Because everybody does not have that same kind of emotional intelligence.
Everybody can't handle it.
Everybody can't do that.
They can't handle
Everybody
it, bro.
literally cannot do that. Like, they cannot comprehend, like, hey, I'm doing this. What do you want to do? Because, like, and I'll speak from this space, right?
Okay, and I'm
Women
gonna tell the real.
Well, no, and I'm not gonna lie.
Oh,
That's,
no,
I'm
no,
not
not
gonna
at all.
lie. He know that. He know how
I'm gonna give you the
I've
real
done
from the
everything
male
but cuss.
perspective.
There
I've
you
done
go.
everything but cuss so far, so I'm doing good.
And I'm waiting on that.
It's coming.
Let's go.
Women say this all the time, right? You know, if you just tell me what's going on, just give me the option. Am I wrong or am I right?
Correct.
Right?
Absolutely.
So, but everybody just don't even, they're not emotionally intelligent enough to even understand the option. So like he said, at this point,
You
we're
mean the woman or the man?
the woman. I'm
Okay.
talking, listen, I am the unpopular opinion sometimes, like I said, and then sometimes it's what it is, right? And men, on the other hand, think, well, she can't handle that. Like, she say that, but she don't really mean that. Some of us really mean that. If you tell me what's happening, but then don't be mad if it's mutually, it's all inclusive, right? If you saying that this is what we're doing, I could be doing that too, as long as there's a conversation being had. And you're not in a space where you're like, okay, this is a person that I'm wanting to be with, wanting to do this, wanting to do all these things, want to marry, want to do this. Like, there is no conversation other than like, what are we even talking about? If you tell me what I'm asking you versus what you tell me what I need to hear.
So
See what I'm saying?
I'm gonna tell you why it happens. Because here's how a lot of guys think, and I know it because I got guys that are around me that do this kind of stuff. Because I don't lie to whoever I'm with about anything, right? Like, at the end of the day, here's how guys think. A lot of guys, not all, but a lot of guys. If I say that this is what I'm doing, I'm out creeping and doing whatever I'm doing, but you just want to know, hey, where are we at? And this is what I'm doing. They worry about the fact that if he's doing it, can she be doing it too?
Yeah.
And the reality is, a lot of dudes can't take that to heart. They will be in their feelings. They be ready to, do some strange things.
And Stephanie just said it. She said, women are too emotional for this stuff. We think that we can change a man to be exclusive to us. And that's the problem. I'm not going to ask you no questions I don't want the answer to. So if I ask you, hey, look, just let me know what's happening.
That's a
right
Nico
here.
Monroe exclusive then, because that ain't the case with most.
With most
Lee
of them.
Farmer, what up, man? I just asked about you earlier. How
So
you doing,
did what
brother?
up, Lee?
But you know what I'm saying? Like, but it's like, but this is the other side of that, and I can't speak for y'all, but I can speak based off what I've heard from my male friends. A woman said it. Y'all don't believe that we're emotionally capable of handling that type of stuff, and some of us really are.
No, we don't believe that.
Right.
What we believe is that we can't handle if you turned around and did the same thing to us, and then
Yeah.
we can't handle it
And then
emotionally.
you can't handle it.
I think
that's what the real
But
worry is.
that's what's not being said. Right?
I think it's not either or. I think it's both.
Yeah.
I think it's both
That's
and.
what's
agree.
not being said, because the thing is, if
here's the other
you
thing,
like, hey, look,
right?
man.
Just like black men don't cheat, black women cheat better.
We're going to get into that.
So when a dude's
We're gonna get into that.
like, okay,
Listen,
she might
that's
do
later.
it better than
That's
me.
later. That's later. That's later.
We're going to get into that.
Okay.
Here's what
But if
I-
you tell a black man, listen, it ain't even gotta be a black man. It's a man in general. If you telling me we're saying this is what we're doing, and I'm like, nah, I got plans, and I'm doing this and I'm doing that, your chest hurt.
No, it's a gut shot because we
absolutely.
think you should be in love with her, especially once we think
chest
you should be
hurt.
done.
I mean, chest hurt.
Chest
emotional.
hurting. But same way, and I found this to be more true than I thought it would be in my younger years. A lot of times, I think if you do give the woman the option, right? Say, hey, listen, I'm doing this. Not giving the details, obviously, but I'm doing my thing. You're free to do your thing. We can do our thing when we together. If you're cool with that, cool. If you're not, cool.
Exactly.
And 7 times out of 10, you'd be shocked. And I played this game when I was younger, like, oh, girl, me and you. And I was doing 15 other things. They said, cool. Yeah, you know, and then as things progress, then they might want to shut that shit down. And then that's just the time to be honest and say, no, that's not what we signed up for, right?
That's why I say the best dating period of my life is like 40 and on.
Because you learned
everything before that was some bullshit.
Listen. It's just really that thing. It's like the difference between. I mean, it really is like Brian said. It's no difference, right? If everybody's saying this is what we're doing, we're gonna do blah 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 blah, and you're somewhere and you minding your business with your computer working, and I walk in with some dude, your chest hurt.
Yeah, but you know,
depends. It depends.
I don't owe you the conversation to tell you what my whereabouts are in those moments because they're not with you.
Well, it depends also too, Mika. I'll say this: if I'm more emotionally invested than I'm letting on, sure. And other times, it's happened to me. I've been out somewhere hanging out with my boys, and she's walked into a bar that I just took her ass last week with some other dude, and I'm like, look at this little motherfucker, and I found it adorable.
I liked it there.
Yeah, and then she called me later that night.
Yeah,
but that's,
you know what
that's
this really boils down to, though, right?
thing.
It really boils down to, at the end of the day, you can communicate, but are you communicating honestly?
Mm-hmm.
Right? If you communicate and say it,
gospel,
but you don't really mean it, you're not being honest with yourself about it.
You're communicating safely to appease your emotions. And when people communicate safely to appease their emotions, they leave the door open to make their chest hurt. When you see
you just chest hurt. Let me ask this. Speaking of,
only because the man told me one time. I mean, it happened to me. And he was like, I swear to God." He said, "I thought that I was going to." He's like, "I didn't know what to do." I said, "Speak."
What was in there? He was in there like Will Smith, which is a whole other conversation. So let me ask this.
Don't you even?
Now we might dive into that a little bit too. Let me ask this. Since we've got a good handle on, I think infidelity is not.
Yeah.
Have you ever cheated, Miko?
Yes. But
why?
Well, here's the thing. I did it once.
And how many? I was about to say, and how many times?
Once.
Once with one person, or once ever?
Once ever with one person.
Okay.
And I was in college. And
that doesn't really count.
And,
we're not doing that. You did it. We're not prefacing when I was in college.
But there's a
It counts.
Yeah,
it
it all counts.
For me, it counted. It definitely counted, right? I was very green when I went to college. I never dated anybody, like any of that stuff, right? And my boyfriend at the time, at some point, was not at college with me. And
Jamal is judging you, by the way. This is at U of I, Jamal, too. You probably know the dude. He probably still fucked up right now.
He didn't go to U of I.
Oh, your boyfriend didn't go to U of I?
No.
Okay, all right.
And so...
The dude you cheated with didn't go to U of I?
He did.
Ah, there we go.
Your boyfriend didn't go to U of I.
That nigga was working at Foot Locker somewhere, man.
First of all, he went to another school. He was not working at Foot Locker.
Marshall crying.
My girl that left me and she was some college nigga.
And this is why he was older than I was. So this is why I cuss on the radio. Asshole. He was older than me. But I never did it again because I had never I didn't understand, something just kind of happened and then it all came out, whatever, right? We ended up being together after that. But the hurt that I seen in that human being for something that I was just kind of like, yeah, I really didn't even have to do, was the worst thing that I'd ever seen in my life coming from a male. And I was just like, I would never do it again.
How did it come out? Did you come clean or did you get busted or?
Oh no, somebody told on me.
Nah, you got busted.
And he showed up at my job.
Ooh.
And it was that was that. I mean, but honestly, then.
Were you working at Impy or some shit? Where were you working?
None of your business. It was a public place, that's for sure.
Okay, all right.
And so then, like I said, things mended themselves. We ended up getting back together, all that stuff. But it was it never, you can tell the difference. Right. And even if as a young person, I was very, very green. So it was even as a young person, I can tell the difference in the dynamic of our relationship after that, even though we stayed together for a while. Right. Out of college, graduated, all this stuff. But it was still I I'm home now, I'm present, and it still don't feel the same.
Mm-hmm.
And I did that, and I was like, man, I would never want nobody to, like, ever. It was wild to watch me having done that to like a man. Like it was bad. So I was like, yeah, no, never again. Because he was actually hurt, and I was like, I didn't get it, but I got it.
But you got it.
And I was like, yeah, nah, damn, that's fucked up. It's like, ugh. Even though we got, I was like, nah, that was bad.
It was bad.
Yeah, it was
that
bad.
bad.
Yeah, it was bad.
Bad.
Yeah, it was bad.
Look, I'm just gonna say this, and you already know who told me to say this.
Oh God.
Lil Jeff.
So Jeff, what you been over there doing? Did you ever cheat? No, let me ask.
Go do good.
So Jeff, have you ever cheated?
Yes, I did. So look. Last year of high school, all through college, I was slinging eggplant. You know, there was
Jesus
nothing
Christ,
exclusive
Jeff.
with anybody. I mean, I'm just saying. So there was nothing exclusive with anybody per se, and so there was no opportunity to cheat because nobody was serious, especially not me. It wasn't
in particular me.
It wasn't until I got married that I actually got accused of cheating, but never did. I hadn't even ever personally met the person, right? At all.
Wow.
And so yeah, I ended up doing the time for the crime, and I was like, if I'm gonna do the time, I'm gonna do the crime.
Mm-hmm.
That's interesting. Mm-hmm. I mean, because I've definitely been accused of it, but like, I didn't want to do the crime.
I didn't do the R. Kelly and say it wasn't me. I was like, look, I didn't do it. Literally, I didn't do it. But then, after having to serve the punishment for it, I was like, okay, how many times can I do it now?
Oh, Jesus.
Oh, yeah, I went ham. So I really count those 52 times as one.
One global.
Because I only had to apologize once.
Why can't my cup be closer? Why can't my cup be closer?
So technically, I only cheated once.
Ron, I should have got a straw, like the long one, like the hookah stick, and just put it in my cup. Oh, my God.
So, yeah.
I count those 52 times as one.
But not since. And so me and that person, patched things up, worked things out, had a, pretty fruitful marriage until we didn't. And then it was like, okay, you know what? Let me go back to just being single. And let me just lay all the cards on the table for whoever's with me. This is who I am. This is what I want. If that's not what you want, let's not even do this. Because it ain't no sense in you getting your feelings hurt. Because mine will not be if I walk away. And so the one time, and that's it.
The 152 times.
The 152 times. For the 152 times. Mm-hmm. That's like literally once a week, my man.
If you only get yelled at once,
it only counts for one.
That's literally once a week for a year.
Who said it was a year?
I'm just saying you said 152 times. I just did a little math to put it in perspective.
I'm not even sure if it's 52 times, 52 people. I don't even want to go into the details.
Okay, you know what? You're right.
You want the number.
No,
I'm good. I'm good.
I think we're good. We're good. I don't have a straw.
Yeah, we get the gist.
No, you need rope for this.
Oh, my God.
This is like climb out the Sears Tower emergency rope type stuff.
Jamal said something very interesting. I don't know if he was, he plays so much.
Jamal plays so much, but go ahead.
He was just like, I could never see myself doing that to a person that was willing to invest in me.
No, that's fact.
But that's why I was like,
especially for Jamal, because if he got anybody to invest in his weird ass, then he need to.
That's why I was like, I don't know if he was joking or serious, but that's
that
was kind of my sentiment though. Like I was like, oh, this was like beyond anything, and it felt terrible.
Okay, the reverse of this question
person is,
have you ever had it done to you?
Oh yeah.
I don't even like the face you made.
Oh yeah, that's yeah.
I mean, like, is this a reoccurring thing? One bad experience, or
maybe twice or so.
And how'd you find out?
One, I'm told on himself.
Meaning he was honest and came clean, or he left his phone open and you looked at the shit. I don't know.
Clean. He just was talking, and I'm not. I keep telling y'all I'm smarter than I look. Anyway. Why you in my business? What about you?
First of all, you left the door wide open for a joke that I did not take.
I thought about that too. Like, nope. I'm not
so you should be saying thank you right now. But anyway, go ahead.
Thank you right now.
Uh-huh.
No, and I mean it's happened. A few times. It is what it is.
It is what it is. Jeff?
Right.
So, I mean, you know I'm crazy and I have training, and most of the women that I've ever been with know that too. So
Oh God.
if
What kind of training?
if it's happened, huh?
What did we say?
Literally, my job was to learn how to hurt people and kill people. That's called U.S. Army Infantry. So that's what I did for quite a while.
So you threatened them into submission?
No, I've never had to threaten anybody about
I think he's
It's
saying
just-
that their knowledge base led them to make wise decisions.
Like, don't be messing with this man. He's gonna go kill this woman.
Well, it's not even a man. We don't. It
No,
doesn't
kill
even get
her.
to that point.
That's what I'm saying. Are you threatening people into submission?
No, not at all. That's the beautiful thing about power, right? If you got real power, you don't have to threaten anybody.
I'm so glad I have that
You know,
now. It's
so it's like,
amazing to have.
although I will say one time somebody accidentally that I knew sent an email. Although he thought I cared, I really didn't. It was like, yeah, girl, do he know I be giving you this?
He didn't
You can
say
say
that.
that.
On
You can say
accident.
this is a childless free.
Yeah, he didn't
Oh,
say
do
that
you
on
know I be
But-
giving you this dick?
He
I'm
didn't
like,
say that on accident.
No, he did because he didn't realize that she had. Well, that's a whole. I won't get
Trust
into that.
me.
But at the end of the day, oh no, he knew better. Believe me when I say that, he knew better. But I didn't care. It was like we are not exclusive, and I'm giving the same dick that he talking about to somebody else. So what? I'm just saying. What's quit bringing his name into this?
I have to sometimes.
okay.
I can't get
Trying
my,
to get
I can't
covered
get
by
my
blood.
cup from over here. So you know,
He ain't gonna bring it up to you.
it's either the whiskey or the Lord.
Yeah.
You better swing around, get that little.
You right. You
So
right.
I guess I would say yes and no.
Yeah.
Just because I guess if she thought she was cheating on me, little did she know I didn't give a damn.
Yeah.
Like it wasn't that type of situation for me. So it didn't
Yeah.
matter. Now, had that been my wife, different story.
Different conversation.
Like, oh,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's just
don't-
a different-
Not too much of a conversation, but different scenario.
Yeah,
So-
definitely just a different play. Like me, like I'm even like you said, there's we talk about the whole married versus like just fidelity and like all that stuff. You know, even trying to get to that space. Like so, mine was a little interesting because I moved to LA and like all this stuff, and so it was just like with LA, lose your mind. But also give me all your passwords. Don't be crazy. You crazy. Like, so you just gonna put it in the box and then just be like, no, what are you saying? Like, just weird stuff.
Yeah, well, there's levels to this, right? So there's,
There are levels to
as
it.
we mentioned, I mean, so we're talking about cheating when you're dating. That's one thing. Cheating when you're in a relationship, that's a different thing.
That's a different
That ain't
thing.
even, can you even cheat when you date? I guess it
can't
depends
cheat
on.
when you're
yeah,
dating.
and then cheating when you're married is a
Whole nother level.
whole nother level, and then there's levels inside that relationship, right?
Yes.
So that's crazy. I would say so. I've never been cheated on to my knowledge. I'll say that.
Okay.
Let me rephrase that.
Would you want to know?
What you want to know?
I used to say yes. I want to be full. I don't want to be boo boo the fool. I want to be fully informed.
Don't embarrass me in
But
public.
I don't think I do. As long as you're not out here, you're not at bureau, hugged up with a motherfucker in a booth.
Like, what did I just say? Don't embarrass
Right,
me
where
in
everybody
public.
can see
Don't
this
have
shit and
me
be like,
someone looking
God
stupid.
damn.
Right.
Is that B's wife over there hugged up? with
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
but if you are good enough where I have not, and she watches, if you are good enough where I have not found out, see, everybody know black men don't cheat. We started with that Herb.
Who let Herb in here?
We started with that Herb.
Now who let Herb in here?
So, but I did find out years later. I'm talking 20 years later. And this is how I know I don't want to know. Great question, Jeff. Young lady, I was, so my ex-wife and I dated in high school, dated through our college, got married, blah, blah. But we did have a brief period in college where we broke up and I was dating somebody else.
Right.
And I found out 20 years, I'm sitting around in my basement with my guy. And he went to U of I. And I'm not even gonna say, Dale Morrison. And
Shouts out Dale.
what's up, D-Mo? And we having a just watching the game, talking shit. And we talking about the college days, whatever. He's like, man, I got to come clean on some shit. And I was like, what's up, bro? And he was like, man, so you remember,
No. I don't like the way this is
you
going.
remember you was dating. We were at my crib. The
conversation
crib
was
I'm at,
happening
I live in right now.
in his home. The conversation is happening in his home.
In my house.
right now.
Now here's where this is scary. My wife has a huge crush on Dale. Huge. So I'm like, oh, this motherfucker's not about to tell me. He's like, remember college? I was like, all right, cool, college. Whatever.
Right.
I didn't care about her. No
remember
way.
at the barbecue? We
Right. No, this for real. At this day, he came over. I had some people over to watch the game.
Yeah.
Mostly everybody had gone.
Witnesses.
Yeah, and no, everybody was gone. He came over super late for whatever reason. We were all watching the Bears game at noon. There's some guys hung out and watched the afternoon game, and then they left. He shows up for the damn Sunday night game. It's just me and him. Anyway. So my wife texts me from upstairs. She's like, "Who the hell is still here?" But I thought it was gonna be a day thing. I was like, "It's just me and Dale." No response. I hadn't seen her all day. She had on like shorts and a hoodie. She come down in a damn cocktail dress.
You better come downstairs, Alice.
in full makeup. Hey, have you eaten? Are you thirsty? I'm like, what the fuck is that? Had I said anybody else, had I said, it's just Jeff eating, tell that nigga go home.
Right.
Oh my God.
This motherfucker looked like she was going to the damn 100 man gala or some shit. I was like, hey, this a bit.
No.
So later we drinking and we talking shit. He comes with this confession and I'm like, oh, God damn it. So he's like, remember Kyle? I was like, woo. All right, yeah, we are good. He's like, yeah. So, we wasn't really that. We knew each other in college, but we wasn't like boys.
Yeah,
I was like, yeah, nigga, what you get to?
Fair game.
Yeah, no, fair game. And he was like, yeah, I hit such and such. And I was like, I always had a suspicion. And
that's when you ask which week of which month.
But here's how going back to your
Jamal
point.
said Dale is like the government. Most women from the UIUC have been to
That Jamal, no.
He came over to specifically get that off his chest, and I believe that.
No, I think he came.
He waited till the whole posse was gone so he didn't get jumped.
He comes over. Dale's just interminably late. But here's what my point to this is: I've gone around a mulberry bush. It hit me in my chest 20 years later.
I'm telling you.
I was like, oh.
So the reverse of that is the same person I felt so horrible about, right? And I said never really kind of got over it. Found out later on in life that he was out here on some bullshit.
Tough.
But made my life a living hell at some point. I felt so terrible. And was just,
See, that's why I waited 32 years to be serious about anybody. I just felt like, from 17 to 31, it was like, this is some bullshit out here. Like, this is straight bullshit. I don't even want to play this game. Like, this is not even, it's not even structured for us to win it. So I'm just not going to play. And, typically we find all kinds of places to meet women. Man, my wife ended up being my cousin's best friend that I had never known. And another cousin was trying to hit her. And turns out that we end up getting married, right? So good woman
it's
overall.
A lot of
but for me, it was like, thank God I waited 32 years to, finally actually meet somebody I can say I'm going to be serious about, have my kid, that I can trust and, be confident that it wasn't going to be the bullshit that I went through for the previous 15 years.
Yeah.
Because, being in the military, man, especially on a post in active duty, whew, I tell you, I went through some shit.
Yeah. Can only imagine, brother.
Through or in?
Huh?
Both?
Both?
And
what?
I said through or in?
Oh, yeah.
Both.
Jamal said Jeff married his cousin, huh? Boy, your cognitive skills, Jamal, today, you have got to get it together.
Jamal.
No.
Is that Jamal, get some meat in your system with your vegan ass. You confused. And I didn't meat. Never mind. We're gonna switch. Hey, we're gonna move that around.
Yeah, okay. Sorry, Jerry.
Hey, so let's talk about it. People cheat. The statistics say that 75% of people step out on their relationship.
That's a horrible number.
It's a horrible number. So why are people stepping out of their relationships and doing what they're doing? Nico?
I don't know that I have an answer for that because
I'm sure there's a million reasons, but
it's a horrible statistic though.
It's a
like
terrible
that is
statistic.
really, really crazy to me. That's crazy.
Yeah, it's an awful stat, but it's happening.
Awful.
But it's happening.
You said 75%.
That's what I read today. 75%.
How do we think 50% of those get divorced?
Anyway,
I mean, I get that. I'm
money,
just saying,
cheating.
It doesn't allow for the statistic to be fucked up. Like that's crazy.
But why are people stepping out? When you stepped out,
why are people stepping in?
Oh,
first of all,
come on.
Because if you know you're not ready for none of that, you have no reason to waste nobody's
I don't
time.
think it's being ready. I think it's settling.
There are a lot of people who settle.
And communicating.
I believe that.
What it is that you're looking for, and then finding somebody that's 75% of it, and doing like I did was like, oh, it's a lot of bullshit out here. okay, fuck it, 75% is
This
better than
seems
40%.
okay.
Yeah, it seems
Yeah.
okay.
Don't we
Then
all
they
settle?
You know what I'm
Don't we
saying?
all settle? Nobody's 100%.
No, we don't all settle. Some of us say that we're realistic about not that there's nobody that's
I don't
100%
think that
in the first
everybody
place.
settles. I think that
Right.
people really out here love each other,
That's
but
fair.
damn,
Absolutely.
75%. Shit.
That's just fucking with you, ain't it?
It really, I can't.
You get your drink. Come on, Jeff. We're gonna let us contain ourselves.
Jesus Christ.
No, I think that's a good point though. You're realistic going into it, knowing nobody's 100%. So you're not settling because you don't have this
Don't have that
unrealistic expectation.
I think you
I don't
said
have
the
a
best
Cosby
thing.
family outlook on what married life or dating life is gonna be.
I think you said the best thing though. Like, there's a certain age, right? You had to go and season yourself and learn some things to even know what some of that stuff looks like. But the ideal for some of us, and we had this conversation the other night, right? The ideal for some of us is a home and marriage and children because that's what we saw growing up.
Yeah.
So that's what you're supposed to do. Except
But
it
you know
doesn't
what we
always
also
work
saw?
like that.
But you know what we also saw? We also saw Papa was a Rolling Stone.
Some of us did.
Dysfunction.
Some of
A
y'all
lot of us
did.
did. If we black, we know we did. If we black from the South, we know we did. A lot of us. A lot of us.
Hey, Herb, we talked about that. Ethical non-monogamy is where it's at. We touched on that a little bit. We're going to roll into that a little bit more. I'm going to get you back on, brother. Yeah, that's exactly right. A lot of us saw a lot of dysfunction in our...
Right, and so we talked about this the other day. It's like, you become... It's nature versus nurture to me all the time, right? So you sometimes, depending on how you decide to live your life, you become what you see. And that could be good or bad or indifferent. It really doesn't matter. But that's kind of, some of us are just to want that, to know that, to be that, right? But then you go into the side of settling, right?
Hey, look, we all watched NBC. We all watched Bill Cosby and
Cosby
Felicia
Show.
Rashad. And, we all saw that. We all had an understanding of what family life could be, but that was TV.
Yeah,
right?
but some of us actually lived those lives.
Say that again?
I said some of us actually lived not
absolutely.
that life, but a portion of that. So it's
Lived
kind of
it.
like,
Well, some people live that life.
that life,
absolutely.
and this is what you are groomed to do and to be. And we could talk about all this other crazy stuff, the Jack and Jills of the world, and cotillions, and all. Like, but
I was just
people
about to
were
say, we
groomed.
can talk about that small
We were
percentage that was
groomed.
Jack and Jill.
Yeah,
and
so
then
we
look
were
at that
groomed to
compared
be
the
this.
rest of the world. You know, I don't know anybody per
It
se
just-
from
so
the
it
west
blo-
side of Chicago went to Jack and Jill, so they don't necessarily.
I'm just
all
saying,
have
it
that.
blows my mind that the number
It's so high.
is
still talking about-
75%.
So, but hold on, let's bring it back in. So, yeah, and I think Jeff, you bringing up a great point. So, even if you watched the Cosby Show, or even if you had a friend, that was whose parents were doing better than everybody else you knew, and they seemed like this perfect couple or whatever. A lot of us grew up in some dysfunction. A lot of us saw some dysfunction.
Yeah.
But I don't want to put that just on, like you said, nurture. Is there any nature in this? Are we built to be monogamous creatures? Really?
And here's the thing. I think the older you get, the more you question it, right? Because the world now influences a lot of things. So you see more, and we live more, and so it's like you can, I've never been married before, right? It doesn't mean that my desire for the rest of my life is not to be or to have children or any of that. That is exactly what it is. Doesn't mean that's what I see every day, and it's like driving me to just go get that tomorrow, right? Like it doesn't. So it's like it's a varying thing because the world has shifted into a space where it's like, what the fuck is going on?
Well, let me ask this, Beaker. Hold on. Let's dive into that for a second. So I would say, or some would argue, men would argue, I'll be more specific, that for us it's not a natural thing. Spread our seed and populate the earth. That's what nature tells us to do.
Okay.
Right? And you all...
Nick Cannon.
Nick fucking... And especially if you can afford it. So, and then... other folks would say nature tells you all you can only be pregnant once at one at a time for 9 months. You're out the game in that regard, so on and so forth. So you're built differently when it comes to that. I don't want to get into the whole how men and women are built differently thing, but let me ask this: if you could,
If I could,
you were married,
I was married.
you could have 3 husbands. Would you?
No, I don't have the mental capacity for these stupid motherfuckers. No,
Future
I only
husband,
need
no now.
one
You are a
person.
stupid motherfucker.
I only
You are
need
a
one
dumb
person
motherfucker.
to love me properly. That's all I need.
Look.
I don't need to know where they gonna be in my face all the time.
No,
I literally cannot even date 3 people at a time. Because I'd be like, listen, I can't compartmentalize emotions like that.
If
with
you put an
everybody.
83-inch TV down in the basement with some surround
Oh
sound and
my
some sports, that's what the
God.
3 of them motherfuckers would be. You could pick and choose when you be bothered with.
If that's my choice, you know, it's a village in Africa that actually does that, right? You Google this when you get. It's a village of women that literally are the opposite of anything you think about, like African men, and they have all these wives.
Are you
It's a-
talking about that Wonder Woman village?
whatever it is, they got all the husbands. They got like 8 husbands apiece. Like, come on over here. Let me holler at you. I would like a baby today. Like, what the hell, lady? Like, you know, it's just a different. No, I could never do that.
So no brother husbands for you.
I don't know that I could do brother husbands.
Jeff?
Look,
That's a lot.
you know,
No, I was gonna say something
I
very
came
vulgar.
to a,
no.
I came to a realization the first time I performed oral sex on my then wife. She dated a guy that played for Chicago Bulls, won championship rings, 3 of them in fact, and
This
his
seemed like
name
a
was
haircut
tattooed
thing.
across right above her snatch. Mm-hmm. And it made me realize very quickly that there was somebody before me. I'm here now, and there might be somebody after me, right?
Facts.
And so, at some point, she loved somebody enough to get their name on her stomach. And then, obviously, she loved somebody enough after that to get it covered over. And then she loved somebody enough after that to push a baby out, obviously me, right? And now she's moved on, and maybe she's with somebody else. I don't know. I don't really care. But it made me come to the realization that if you can love 3 people at different times, what makes you believe that if you had met all 3 of them at the same time, that you couldn't love all 3 of them then? Right? If you were in the same circumstance, why couldn't you love all 3 of them at that point? And so for me, it became a thing of my marriage, my relationships are not about, because this is a big thing in a lot of relationships, is who she gives her vagina to.
Yeah.
Right? It's not about that for me, right? And when you talk about what is love, love was not something that, like, I think you can turn the valve on and off.
You
right?
can't. I've loved 2 people at the same time.
Exactly.
I really
right?
have.
So really what we're saying is,
I think I have too.
Are we
Yeah.
If we can do that, then it says, are we forcing ourselves then to do something that is unnatural to us?
That's fair. That's
because
very fair.
loving people that's a natural thing. You
Right.
either do or you don't.
I think
right?
that I think that the difference is we don't ever put the emphasis on, like, so sometimes, like, love is all encompassing for us, right? So, like, when you asked me this question, if the question you had asked was, have you ever loved more than one person at a time, I would have told you absolutely. Like, absolutely, right? Would I take both their dicks at the same time? No.
yeah,
But-
But that's
At
just
the
me,
exact same
though.
time?
Now we're not talking about DP,
You
homeboy.
went there this time. You didn't go back on it this time. You beat us to the punch.
I opened the door, though.
You did.
I
You
opened
did.
the door, but I opened the
front
door on
and the back.
purpose.
That's right, head to back.
Because listen, I said that to say, like, when the question, my brain went different, and I censored this conversation, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm just not that person. So it's like, yes, have I loved 2 people at the same time? Absolutely, right? Have I been honest about that?
Were you having sex with those people at the same time?
No.
Okay.
So that's what he's saying. There's a
so,
different
what
level
I'm saying
of
is, at
the
the end of the
capacity
day,
of it.
you
He's
made
right.
yourself do something that was unnatural to you. You forced yourself to have discipline to say, I'm only going to have sex with
No.
this dude that I love.
I only wanted to have sex with one of them. Doesn't mean that I didn't love the other.
Okay, well, what kind of love are we talking about?
Yeah,
Eros?
we're talking about in love, right?
But
What
this
kind
is
of love
why
we
I'm
talking
saying
about?
this
Romantic
is why I'm saying
love,
that
right?
things are disparaging because you, like you said, I'm a person that can separate the 2.
Well, I mean romantic love.
Yeah.
I believe you can be in romantic love. If you've been in romantic love with multiple people across time, I don't see why there's not a time that you could potentially be romantically in love with those same people at the same time.
That's just
and
not-
if that's
but
the
that's-
case,
but that's
then
not- but
you're
that's-
forcing yourself not to be
I don't think
sexually
I am,
involved.
though. I think you can be sexually attracted to a person separately from loving them.
Sure.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Right. So if I'm more sexually
I mean,
attracted
Cardi
to
B, I'm
this,
sexually attracted, but that's it.
But don't talk.
Yeah.
But what I'm saying is,
I
if
can't.
you're saying you're romantically in love with 2 people,
I have
you
definitely
have definitely been.
loved 2 people.
Okay, so we talking like
at the same
What
time.
kind of love?
Yeah,
That's
what kind of
we're
love
trying
are we?
to
Yeah, what do we?
specify.
Yeah, what do we specify?
If it's romantic, then you're forcing yourself not to be
right, because when you're romantic love with somebody,
You said I'm forcing myself not to be intimate with one versus the other.
correct.
if you're romantically
If
in
you're
love with both.
romantically involved with both of them.
I wasn't romantically involved with both of them.
Then
I
that's the
love
difference.
them both.
That's different.
And that's what I'm trying to tell y'all.
That's the difference.
I'd love to. All I said was I've loved two people.
All right, well, let me.
clarify.
Yeah, let's
Romantically in
yes,
love with two people at the
specifically,
same
we're
time.
talking about romantic love.
No.
I have been romantically in love with two people.
I've never been romantic.
Wait.
Wanting to
Romantically in love or infatuated?
No,
see how you breaking this. Now you going a whole nother space.
For dudes, it's different.
It is different.
Y'all actually love like that.
No,
right?
I think
we get infatuated with somebody and we confuse it with love when it's really just.
And that
yeah,
is the
just-
thing.
yeah.
And that's why I said I can't. Like I don't do the. I can't do that. I can't do that.
We get it.
get it.
Yeah.
Great question, Jeff. And I think the person that Dale hit, fuck you, Dale.
Oh Lord, fuck you, Dale.
I think that was purely a sexual thing that I thought was love, and then later in life, I think I know now because I was a little older, a little further down the line. I was in love with two people.
Great
Yeah,
Step Brothers
because your
reference,
chest
by
hurt
the
when
way.
a nigga told you.
Yeah.
No, I ain't talking about that. That hurt because I didn't shit.
You didn't know.
Because I'm supposed to be a man. You're supposed to be no.
Oh my God.
I'm talking about not her. I'm talking about somebody later.
Oh, okay.
I know.
Wait,
I know the
Dale
difference
did something-
because of the two. One, I think that was just I was blind because of her and that.
I already
If this other person, it's like I loved this motherfucker and I love this motherfucker, and if I could have you both,
Yeah.
but particularly that was my earlier 20s. I had the stamina for that shit. I ain't got it now, but
That was no. Like first of all, that's too many emotions in my space.
Yeah,
I think we have the emotional capacity to deal with these things if everybody's on the same page.
You think that I can call two men and say, "Hey, look, I love both of y'all."
The right two men.
Really?
The right two men.
I'm gonna try it.
No, don't do that shit.
I'm gonna do a social experiment.
Okay.
I'll get back to
Well,
you.
good
I'm gonna
luck.
tell
Tell
you.
me how that happens. We're gonna have a whole nother show on that.
I'm totally kidding.
I'm gonna tell you that.
I'm not doing that.
You can't really
Y'all got
say-
Ron in here sweating. I'm sorry, Ron.
Hey, Drake had a line in one of his songs. He said, "I group DM text all my exes, telling them y'all still belong to me."
That's some crazy shit. That's some
Well,
crazy shit. Ron.
once we always feel like we kind of got a little piece of you. Always.
Man, I keep in contact with all mine.
I keep in contact with a lot of my exes.
Herb, but no, Herb said it. What did I say? And so Herb, I said this before you got on. He said you'd be surprised what people would do if you give them.
We
a
talked
choice.
about this at the beginning,
and,
Herb.
and
Yep.
that's for real. Like, and so it's the like you said, it's
Yeah,
the
but they
communication.
lie.
But you said it. I'm giving you this. You said there's communication and there's honest ass. This is the for real stuff. Communication. So it's not a. I like both. Or I'm doing this or I'm doing that. It's the real stuff. Yeah. And a lot of people are afraid of the real stuff.
That's because they don't think other people can handle it. And I think what Herb is saying is you'd be surprised what people can handle
And this is what I was saying earlier.
if you're honest.
Yeah, but you can't be straight up honest with certain like
You have to
everybody
assess the
right out the
situation.
gate.
No. You got to feel that shit out.
Oh,
Yeah, you gotta take some time to
You gotta feel that
evaluate that individual because some people you tell that shit you be done disappeared and nobody know where you was at.
No, he's
Like,
and he's
right
not
out the
joking.
gate,
Like,
like-
it's one of
No,
these
I
that's
know.
very
No,
serious. 'Cause
actually,
it's like,
yes.
Like what's the Instagram model's name that she basically rebuffed this dude and he went to her apartment building and broke in and killed her and like she had never met this dude. It was just like you follow me on Instagram, but hey, this is not a personal thing. I'm doing this to make money, and you get rebuffed or you find out something you don't want to know.
Yeah.
And it's people out here now that's
No,
just think
close
that
to the
if-
home. If y'all
I
remember,
just think that-
Naila
oh yeah
Franklin.
Oh.
yeah Nyla Franklin.
she's my year.
Yep.
So
Yeah.
we all friends. Yeah.
Yeah.
that
So
was-
I mean, yeah.
Yeah.
To keep it real, yes.
Yeah. That
Not-
would hit home.
Yes. To
definitely. That's
My fault. Hey, let me
I
get
done
it funny.
ran out.
Anyway.
Who in charge of drinks? You on it? Since you
I
up,
know,
you-
right?
you
Like-
But
on
we
the
still
air.
didn't nail down why people cheat.
I just
Not black men, everybody else.
Oh my God.
Gaps. Period.
Gaps.
That's
Gaps in
it.
communication, gaps in relationship, gaps in sexual activity.
Gaps in
The lack of
in
emotional intelligence.
expectations.
Instant
There's a gap between
gratification.
what I settle for and what I really
Give me
wanted.
this. Watch this. I'm gonna write you a list.
You better text it to me.
No, I'm gonna write a list
Come on.
of
Come
why.
on, elaborate on the gaps, Jeff.
You
While
elaborate on the gaps,
Miko
and I'm
while
gonna
Miko's
write
making
this
our list.
So
It's a billion reasons.
If you walk into a relationship and you ultimately end up cheating, it's because in the very beginning you didn't have that open and honest conversation about what your expectations were and what that person would expect of you.
Okay.
Right? That's right out the gate. So we know that conversation didn't happen in a truthful and transparent way. And so now you're in the relationship. And if they met 75% of your expectations, there's a 25% gap there. And some of that 25% gap, some of those things are critical, right? Like communication, right? Like if we don't communicate the right way, if we don't know how to communicate with each other, if we don't know how to send a message, receive a message, decode a message, repeat it back to the person to make sure they understand, that's a big one, right? And like I told my girlfriend once before, I said, listen, we don't have any problems except one in our relationship. Sometimes we don't communicate well. If we fix that, all the other things are little symptoms. They're not the problem, right? And so when you start talking about gaps, okay, I married no offense to anybody that's shaped like this.
Oh, geez.
I dated a girl and married a woman that ended up being 5'2", 165 pounds. And the reality is I wanted somebody that was 5'11" and 142 pounds, right? And now you're married to that person that's not the ideal of what you wanted. And guess what you end up doing? You end up going out and finding some people, not to say all, you end up going out and looking for that thing.
A lot of white men. A lot of white men
missing,
do this shit.
Right? And that's what it boils down to. It's like there are gaps that have to be filled. And then here's the other side of it. And this is the irresponsible side. The cheating also happens because you're a coward. Right? You're a coward.
Oh, because you're scared to have a conversation?
To say what the truth really is. Right? Period. So I'm sorry if I offended anybody, but not really. At the end of the day, why not just have that conversation and say, this is not working. I don't want to. If you love somebody, you got to have that conversation and say, if I love you and I genuinely love you, I got to tell you the truth before I hurt you, which is not something I want to do to you. Right? I want to make myself feel good, but I don't want to make you feel bad
right.
in the same instance, right? Which ultimately, if you've gone out and done the cheating, and they don't know that about you, right? If they didn't, like, if you marry somebody that you knew was always a dog, then that's on your stupid self for marrying a dog, right? Thinking you could get rid of the fleas on that mutt. That's on you, right? But if you went into it not knowing that, and this person then comes back to you and then has this truth, you're going to hurt that person anyway. But it's a matter of how bad do you hurt a person that you say you loved?
Correct.
Right? That you married.
That you actually
right? That you
love.
said, I'm going to be I'm going to be with you forever. Right? Like, are you putting a bullet through their brain, or are you kind of scratching them with a knife? Well, I say if you continue cheating and being a coward and scared to rip the Band-Aid off, that's all it boils down to, is you're a coward.
Interesting.
So.
Funny.
I'm sorry.
I love that. Go, Jay. Do your thing.
You're absolutely right.
Nico, I want to not counter Jay's point, but a conversation we were just having earlier in this conversation. I always have the opinion, and this is just me, and I'm not saying this is not me outwardly, really more receiving it. If you love me, lie to my ass. I don't want to fucking know. Protect my feelings. I don't, just keep me in the dark. Ignorance is bliss over here. So I get where you coming from.
But it always comes to light.
Not always.
Look, there's always.
You just talked to Dale
these little things
20 years later, and it was light in there, right?
And you're like,
you a lie.
Shit.
Hold on. You just talked to Dale 20 years later, and you thought that the dark was still in the dark until it came to the light, right?
I know facts.
Dale came to your home.
No, that's true. But I know plenty of. Hey, now you're making me hate Dale.
Yeah, you always said fuck you, Dale.
Emmy. She earned an Emmy tonight.
No, that's a good point. But I also know that I've committed lots of things that are buried and their bodies are gone forever.
Which is okay. You think that.
Yeah.
Tremaine, if you ever tell where the body's buried, I kill you.
Jesus, now you can put this man on blast.
He was in here last week. He know what the hell happened.
So here's what.
Come on, give me your list.
It's not even a full list. I stopped at the list because I feel like it's enough, right?
Well, wait a minute. Hold on. I do have to. Herb, boy, this is why I need you back.
You heard what he
We're
said?
fucking with me.
That?
Most people prefer.
Yep.
I ain't got my glasses on. Excuse me. Most people prefer comfortable lies over uncomfortable truths.
Uncomfortable truths, and that's true.
Facts. And I'm one of them.
People
But
have been
that's-
groomed that way.
But they don't. Right? There's always a trail that leads to the truth being uncovered, and then it's even more hurtful. Right? The breadcrumbs are always there. It's just whether or not you're gonna follow the trail. You know, when you start cheating on somebody, and
Y'all have to
You
start.
start-
I love Dale Jamal. I'm just talking.
You
shit.
got to start protecting people. Listen, I'm gonna give you this list.
Hit me with the list, Miko.
I'm gonna start with this because I feel like it's most important, right? Even when you talking to people, and even if it was me, this is not me. I'm just saying there are people who have real life for whatever they've gone through in their space and their time, very low emotional IQs, right? So even if on a surface I tell me everything, like I just want to know, if emotionally I'm not mature enough to handle that, right? It becomes a problem. So that's number one. Number
popping
two
Xanax.
is absolute insecurity on either. This is a very unisex list. It's not a
Because black men don't cheat anyway, so come on.
Come on. Insecurities will always make you do some things that you feel like you're not being fulfilled, right? Instant gratification will always be on the top of that list. If I feel like I'm not,
Yeah, but why couldn't you get that
I didn't ask you
gratification
to
from the person
question.
you're with?
I didn't ask you to question my list. I just asked to talk about my list. Thank you. I have the floor. Rushed relationships, because a lot of people are smitten with people,
I agree
and
with
they
that.
get into these spaces where they really don't know people, and they go, and it's like this honeymoon phase, and it's great until you stay with somebody or you're with somebody, and shit, you're crazy because you didn't take the opportunity to really know what anybody's emotional intelligence was or their intelligence at all. Money, not having open and honest communication, power struggles, settling for less, and vanity.
Wait, that list don't look this long from over here. Damn. All right, go ahead.
It's 9 things on this list.
That list look like 5 things over here. Go
That's
ahead.
the list.
All right.
But those
And,
are all,
and vanity. Wait a minute. I think that's an excellent one.
because it just really is like, if you think that you're this, and I keep saying people settle all the time, and you're like, shit, I'm better than that. You're gonna go and seek out what you feel like is going to conquer you.
Exactly what we said while she was writing the list.
No, I heard you.
Absolutely.
And that's what I'm saying. Like, there are a lot of different reasons why people do this dumb shit.
On the flip side of that
four
vanity
letters,
coin,
gaps.
yeah, or the gaps,
Gaps.
And the
So
flip
this
side of
is
that
all,
vanity,
to me, all of this is a gap.
Gaps.
Yep,
And Miko, what's funny about that vanity piece is, and we're talking about gaps. I think sometimes that's an emotional or personality gap, right? I think some people's self-worth, value is tied in a conquering some pussy. Right?
Insecurity.
Yeah, and somewhere deep seated, that's some insecurity
It
shit.
really is. And a lot of this stuff stems from people not having enough security in their space. So they do these things to kind of, everybody wants to feel wanted. I tell people this all the time. Everybody wants to feel wanted, right? And everybody wants to be considered. We had this conversation, I feel like, last time I was here. So when you're in a space where, like, people are different, right? So if you're insecure enough to, like, there's one thing that makes you feel not considered in your space, you're gonna find where you are being considered, and it turns into this is all you said gap, and I said give me the paper,
And there's
because
a
this
list.
is really what this is.
Yep.
Miko,
Everything is a gap.
go ahead.
There's a
distinction
lack.
too, right? There's 2 types of gaps, right?
Lack.
The one gap is the individual gaps. The gaps that I have in my own personal life that have nothing to do with the other person.
With other person.
Absolutely.
I walked in with
There's a
those.
gap between me and that other
That's
person.
right.
Right.
That's right.
No,
If there's
that's
a gap
fair.
that I have individually, obviously there's gaps that she could have individually.
That's right.
Right.
Correct.
So there's individual gaps, and then what we bring together,
The relationship
and,
gaps.
and there's a gap in that relationship,
Yeah.
right? So those 2 things. If you have gaps in both places, you're fucked.
You're fucked.
Period.
But this
So-
goes back to rush relationships, right? Like, people don't take the time, and then it's at a certain age. You're like, oh, well, this is what I want. This is what I'm doing. It's like, oh, like this person. Oh, we vibe. We've done this. It's so great. Let's just dive on in. That is not, first of all, it's not healthy, and it's not safe, because everybody has a gap. And you've not talked about your gaps, your lack, what what's going on up here, the things that and it's not a first date conversation, but it's a get to know people conversation, and people are not doing that.
Yeah.
So then you get into these situations where you think you done fell in love, and then you like, wait a minute, this ain't it. What are we doing? And you stuck there
Well,
because you committed to this
committed to that now. Too early.
too early,
Without
going through the rest of this stuff and everything else, because you are looking for something to appease what is not making you whole.
let's shift gears just a touch, but building off that, Miko, what's worse, if we can say it in that vein? Emotional cheating? Physical cheating?
Depends on who you ask. If you ask a woman,
I'm asking you, my baby.
I'm thinking.
No, it's fine. I got think.
Backlogging myself. Honestly, I'm backlogging myself right now.
I'm giving you the thing because it's an interesting question, right? Like, I think most people's visceral natural reaction is to say physical,
right? And it's not.
And so
But I would
It's
disagree.
not. I would disagree with
Here's
physical.
the problem. The problem is how we frame the question to begin with. Is to say that they're mutually exclusive things.
They're
True.
not, and
They
they're
are not.
absolutely not.
Not always.
They're not at
For
all.
women at all.
But now,
all.
The minute you hit, there's emotion involved.
So that's why I
They're tied
stopped
together.
myself and I said, "Wait a minute."
well, that's why I said men. Well, you know, because I
Jamal,
think men
physical
can
cheating
separate
is
it.
not always emotional. It's not always emotional. They're not interchangeable on any level. They're just not. So I stutter because I'm like, which one was worse for me?
So
It's how I feel about
yeah,
it,
so let me
right?
frame it in
Not
a.
that I did. I'm saying,
Yeah, let me frame it for you. Let me frame it for you in this way. You're with somebody seriously, married or seriously in a relationship, whatever you want to frame it.
This is an AC Green relationship where there's no
sex.
Let's say no sex.
Let's say no
AC Green,
sex,
wait,
but
AC
but everything
He married
emotionally.
somebody and still ain't did it.
We're not. Come on. AC Green got rid of his Jerry Curl and he got some booty. Go on, leave AC
Okay,
Green.
thank God.
Thank
I was like, well,
That's why he wasn't doing it.
He's 90 now, so I hope to
Yeah, I
God
hope
that
to.
he did.
Yeah,
I was concerned about it for a while. Anyway,
I
go on.
don't
I'm
know.
sorry.
Anyway,
I
so you are
apologize. I need to know.
emotionally invested in this person, but you've never had sex with them, or you fucking the shit out of this person, but you have no emotional connection to him at all. These are varying extremes, and it's usually somewhere in the middle. Agreed. But for the sake of this conversation,
Chicken and egg, man. It's the same thing. You whether it's the man or the woman, somebody that keeps going back for whatever's between that person's legs that you're going for, somebody is emotionally attached to it.
If you keep going back.
If you're
So
honest
okay.
and transparent,
If you keep going
somebody's
back.
emotionally attached.
Okay. Yeah.
And if you're emotionally attached but haven't had sex, it's going to happen.
it's an eventuality.
It's in my opinion, just my opinion, unpopular as it may be, it's unavoidable. I don't
know
think you can
somebody
separate the two.
Who randomly wildly was in
It's a relationship,
very-
no sex, y'all just buddies.
And that, listen, I had a conversation with a friend about this because she was telling me a story, and I was like, "So you mean for like the last whatever, how many y'all have had all this love in the air and nobody ever touched nobody's body parts? Y'all are friends. That's your best friend. That don't make no sense to me.
Yeah, because that's a whole
stupid.
different type of love.
It's a whole different type of love
That's
and
that
that
brotherly
perspective.
love.
So,
Like, Lily, you're my
you-
brother.
you would think,
She's
but-
put him in that zone at
You
that
would
point.
think.
Nobody-
You would think, but
Except-
I had a friend.
Invested
I had a friend.
and hurt
Yeah.
when he found out that it was a whole nother thing, and I was like, "How you?" What? Like,
So
it's
Miko, I had a
so-
friend. I had a friend that was married. She is married, and she had a whole emotional relationship with this other dude.
Yeah.
Never touched. Loved this dude. I think she hated her husband, but she loved this dude.
Yeah,
And she had issues in her relationship with her husband. When this dude got a girlfriend, because the whole time he was single. When he got in a relationship, she was devastated. They had never touched. There had never been any, but she was emotionally so invested in this dude. And when he got another, what is Tucson? God damn it! What's up,
Damn
Two?
it.
What up, Frat?
We thought you wasn't coming. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Brian.
He said they both homosexuals.
We thought you wasn't coming too.
Damn, Two. I think Herb texted him. Herb, did you text that man?
Oh, we thought you wasn't coming.
So
Oh,
I'm
we
just
almost
saying
made it.
that's an extreme, but it happened. I've seen
It
it.
does happen. So what's worse? The question is
What's worse?
First question is, how many dudes sticking around that long to be that
It's a
emotionally
lot.
involved and locked in? And okay, so this is again.
The lack.
Wait. This is again, somebody's not telling the truth. A dude sticking around that long, emotionally involved, wants to hit, and ain't telling the truth about it.
He just waiting. He bided his time.
That's all it is.
He bided his time.
But in the meantime, he's going into friend zone.
Would you have a serious, like, and this is even if you weren't married, right? Just be honest.
I'm not married. I'm divorced.
But you know what I'm saying.
Okay.
If you were absolutely single.
Okay. Whatever that is.
That's a very fluid definition.
You can speak on my life.
I'm fucking with you. No, I'm just saying.
Shit, that's what I'm
Me and
here.
Jeff been friends a long time. I know
Long
it's
time.
a long time. I'm
Too.
talking shit.
Friends.
So
You're right.
listen,
You're right,
no,
Fred.
I'm saying if it was on you, right, and you were in a like emotional, like how long would you wait if you in this emotional? Because it's an emotional relationship, right?
Yeah.
You're talking about love and how much you love a person and all of that, and you never.
I
touch
am
a
not
person.
investing all that until I know
And
what the
this
pussy
is what
feel
I'm
like.
saying. Like,
Not
how
happy.
do you get to the point where you are emotionally
Silk or
involved?
sandpaper, nigga. I need to know.
I'm just saying. I'm not.
Silk or sandpaper, I need to know.
Do y'all hear what I'm dealing with? Brian just said, silk or sandpaper. I don't give a fuck.
I need to know.
I need to know.
That's it. I'm not tying
Sue
myself
said he
up
waiting
emotionally
37
like
hours.
that.
But people actually do this though, and it
and
really
that's why they
it's
fucked
crazy.
up now. That's the problem.
Low emotional intelligence.
Whatever you want to call
They
it.
lacking. They looking for something.
they
and
lacking.
somebody's offering it.
They lacking more
and
than
getting
intelligence, too.
played.
I mean,
But
if
again, what does
I'm
it go back
feeling the
to?
chick, I'll wait. It's not to say I'm gonna be messing with no other chick on the side or smashing
This is
somebody
the
else.
point.
That's what we're saying. That's what we're saying. That's what we're saying.
We talking about people who were
That's
like,
what
oh
we're saying.
no, we just
If you
don't
fucking
do
three
this.
other chicks, you can wait for
You
the
can
fourth.
wait. You can
Shorty,
Look,
like,
you can be
you
emotional
can
in a
take
motherfucker
your
with somebody.
Take your time.
Y'all honest, you can be emotional as shit with this person, but if you're like, no, I just want to AC Green you, just want to be emotional. Like, how?
Yeah, but even AC Green hit at some point.
At
He
some
was
point.
biding his time. It
At
just
some
happened to be
point.
47 years.
Bless his soul.
But he
Biding
caved.
his time.
He caved.
around,
did.
literally.
He caved. Literally.
So
Literally.
We had came off balance. Wait a minute.
That's how we good. Let me ask this. Let me ask this.
Jamal said, which is better, silk or sandpaper? He asking for a friend.
If you got to ask, then we touched on this at the beginning, and we knew we would go circle back.
Came on back.
Who cheats better, men or women?
I'm gonna let her go first again.
What? I'm tired of no.
I'm gonna go first. Fuck it, I didn't go first this time.
You gonna get drinks or something?
I don't think either necessarily cheats better. I think men
we cheat
cheat
different.
more, not black men, other men cheat more, and that's probably why they get caught up more, because the variables say if I cheat 10 times, I'm probably gonna get caught on the 11th. Women cheat a little bit less, and men don't really look or seek like you all do, and we're not as emotionally in tune to catch shit. So I think you all think you cheating better, but you're really not. We just kind of dumb and deaf and blind.
Because I don't cheat.
Okay. Certain women, let's say that. So I don't think either necessarily cheats better. I just think that men probably step out more, so they up their opportunities to get caught.
We're gonna let the MVP have it.
I agree with that, man. Like,
Yeah, I think that we cheat different.
Agreed. We
cheat
cheat
different.
we cheat different.
We cheat different.
We cheat different. Agreed. I don't know if like girl, if I cheat, he never know anyway.
those conversations.
So I got to think
We
about
just
this
cheat
from like
different.
a kind of a West Side perspective, right?
Keep
See,
it wet.
we gotta keep going to the.
The GDs just got in the dope.
Let me just say, well,
Ain't no GDs on the West Side.
I know. I'm just kicking. I'm just kicking the song because
Now
ain't
we
no.
gangbanging. Jesus Christ.
I don't know if there's no. They ain't got a song for what's on the West Side.
shout out to Mike Samp, the oldest GD I know in the city.
Ain't he? Come on, Joe. Shout out to Mike Sam.
That boy pitchforks on his chest is wrinkled over his shit.
It's a,
I'm telling him what you
all
said.
in his nipple.
Right now. I'm finna put you on. Look.
Pitchforks pointing to his nipples right now. Anyway, go ahead, Jeff.
Wilted fries.
Did you say his pitchfork looked like wilted fries? Oh my god. Oh god.
If I had to think about it, like,
Ooh, Toussaint said women cheat more. Okay.
whoa.
I don't think we
I
cheat
think
more. I
by the
think
number
we cheat
of
different.
car windows that get busted out, tires that get slashed, clothes that get bleach on them, you know,
Have you seen your therapist about this? Just
I wouldn't have, like, I've never
it's a
needed to.
haha.
Maybe he just watched Cheaters.
I mean, if I mean,
I love Cheaters, by the way. It's a great show.
I am laughing inside because I'm thinking to myself, if any woman ever did that to me, she
would die.
Yeah, but-
Die. You already said it earlier.
I didn't say die.
He
I
never
mean,
said
was like,
that.
yeah, you get hurt.
He never said that.
And I
in the
don't
army.
cheat, so it didn't.
Scare people.
He said that they knew his talents, so they avoided
Exactly.
conflict.
Oh, I
Don't-
said, yeah, well,
don't
for the
put words in my
military, I
boy's
did,
mouth.
But not
Anyway.
illegally.
Go ahead, Jeff.
Not that I would ever say that out loud.
You never did.
No.
I said it for you.
But yeah, I mean, if you just think about how many women have written books about this, and all of the negative, unsafe responses to cheating, I would have to say women, just because we see the emotional and physical backlash of it to the point where we can all say, oh yeah, we do know what Jeff is talking about because we've seen women slash tires and bust windows and
So you
take away
think that we
kids
cheat
and
more?
throw their clothes out and
and
because
this is
if you think about
or
it,
do you think that there's a situation where there's been times where the person is so on your side that you constantly do the things that he said, and it turns into emotional warfare? Because that's not fair. That's not fair to say. Women don't do that. I've never done this stuff, but women don't do that stuff because they're cheating. They do that stuff because they're tired.
Yeah, and in order to be tired, it means that this has to have been done to you. And this has been done to many women many times, because when I say these stereotypical things about how women deal with being cheated on,
So you're saying
it's
women
not
cheat
something
more?
new to us. It's not like, I think so.
So you say, but you
Men cheat more.
you said
men
women.
cheat.
You
Yeah,
said
men
women.
cheat more.
Right. So men,
Men
cheat
cheat
more. 'cause
more.
You said women.
But women do better.
Okay, because you said women. That's what I was like.
I'm
No,
sorry.
Yeah, you
we
did
not,
say
We're
women,
not
yeah.
doing both.
Men cheat more.
Men cheat more, but women cheat better.
Because I'm like, nah.
Women do it better.
Do they?
I mean, as much as we get caught,
But I'm gonna say that's a numbers game. Do you if you think we cheated all at the same level, and I'm gonna just go out on a limb and say men probably step out more, percentage wise.
which means we can't be at the same level, because the probability of us
Yeah.
getting caught is higher because we do it more.
But that's all I'm saying. So I don't know if they do it better. I think there's probability of getting
Well,
caught is just less
The reason I would say it better is because of the
because they cheat.
virtue of the fact
Does
they cheat less.
oh, fair.
Right? If you do it one time
Fair
versus
point.
10,
Fair point.
and putting yourself in a position of getting caught one out of those 10 times versus doing it one
I would
time.
argue.
also
I would argue if you
imagine-
cheat 20 times and get caught once, I think you've done pretty good.
One, this the 1 in 52 over here.
Yeah, that's
I think the difference is, and I've heard this before, right? That women cheat emotionally. Whatever.
But does it matter how they cheat?
It doesn't matter.
Well,
The
that's
thing
why I led with that first
women
question.
are more apt to cheat with the same person versus throwing it around.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
We're more apt to be attached to one thing versus the 52.
Agreed.
And isn't that worse?
So guess what?
I
At
don't
the
know
end of
that
the
it's
day, it goes-
worse.
It goes to exactly what I said.
Lack.
We cheat more.
Yeah.
Y'all do it better.
I
We
just
cheat
wanted
more.
to
It's
correct
just
you
sheer
because
numbers. Y'all
you
do it
gave
better
this
because
whole
y'all do
story
it
about
once.
tearing shit up, and then was like women
Or-
cheat. I was like, nah, that's not how this works.
Yeah,
That's
or
not
even
any
if they
of this
cheated
works.
repeatedly, it's with the same dude. But we, as most time, I know this is Miko probably dispute this. As dudes, I'll say you got a man, and I'm your side dude. I'm cool with that. I ain't never gonna say a fucking word. I don't know
would
if,
disagree with that.
because
all.
you think man, you not gonna disagree with that.
I would not disagree.
Oh, okay,
with
all
that
right. Because
at all.
someone was like, not this
You know what?
golden box. Once they get this,
You know what happens though?
I
I
wouldn't
think women
disagree
tell on
with that.
themselves a lot too, right?
Yeah,
it's
because-
not that, it's
because
not that
it
we
becomes-
catch them.
No.
It's that they realize, okay, I'm emotionally attached to this
guilt,
dude,
and
and
it's guilt.
And it's
I
guilt.
got an
And you
emotional
can't-
guilt.
I gotta
trip that I'm
rid
going
myself
on.
of this
I
guilt.
have to
Yeah.
rid myself of this space because now I love two people.
Yep.
We don't cheat because it's fun. We cheat because there's lack.
Gaps. There you go. But yeah, I think at the end of the day, they do it better. And shit, a lot of the times that they get caught, it's not that they got caught, it's that they gave themselves up.
Yeah,
because
that
of
we
what
can't
she just
take the
said.
shit no more. Like, all right, look, so hey.
Yeah, so
All
that,
right.
that physical side, it's easy to get over the physical. Okay, oh, I did that. I'll go sit a Epsom salt bath and
Yeah,
tighten back
I
up,
went to
right?
Vegas. I fell into some shit. I was
Right,
drunk.
but-
I came home.
But
My
that
bad.
emotional side though, after you
It's
hitting
hard.
it and quitting it, one thing.
Yeah.
The emotional, you can't wash that shit off.
Yeah.
You
You
cannot
can't
wash
it off.
You
And
cannot
so,
wash it off.
I think women get tied up in, man, I like this.
I
Can't
was
be like,
looking for something. I found it. It felt good. It feels good. I love, but this feels good, and I feel like shit.
Yeah.
And that's usually how
And
the
it's-
fight starts.
Yeah. So yeah, they tell on themselves more than we do. Clearly,
Yeah.
we just stupid with our
100%.
shit.
we get sloppy with our
yeah.
shit.
Yeah, giving them the phone.
Y'all be
Yeah.
slang banging. That's what
We get sloppy with our shit.
slang
But
banging.
that's why I say when you do it so often and you getting away with it and get away with it and get away with it, you get lazy.
Yeah.
And,
And you're open and you be out in the streets. and
or you left your phone unlocked or whatever the fuck. Anyway, y'all, final thoughts before we wrap it up.
This was I called shenanigans early. I meant that. That's my final thought.
Shenanigans.
Shit is shenanigans.
Final thoughts, Jeff.
Do better.
Everybody do better.
Jesus, just do better. 75%.
Manage expectations, man. Manage expectations. Like
Manage expectations.
don't expect to go into something with an expectation up here that you know goddamn well the person you marrying is down here somewhere, right? And the other side of it is don't go into a relationship making somebody else believe that you're up here when you know your shit is down there. You know what I mean? Like that way, if everybody is truthful, frank, honest about who they are, what their expectations are of the other person, you know, we might be able to cut this from 75% to 72.
I mean,
Yeah.
laughing, but you're not wrong. Like,
Hey y'all, we got to wrap this one. This one went fast. I appreciate this conversation.
What
It
do
was
you have to
super.
say?
I'm gonna end it up. I just want to say really quick. We got my frat coming up next next segment. Week of Wednesdays. If you've never watched this show, if you thought this conversation was interesting, I'm not even sure what they're talking about tonight, but I know it's gonna be crazy. My final thoughts. I think Jeff and Miko, actually both of you all kind of touched this. If you're open and you're honest, stay that way. If you put your shit on the table up front and you're open and honest and they're reciprocating, everything will be cool. But on that flip side, if somebody tells you who they are when they walk in the door,
Believe them.
believe them.
You're not changing them.
Stop trying to change the narrative.
They're
of a
not.
person
They
that
might
knows their
change,
own
but you're
story.
not changing them. So if when you get with somebody, imagine they never change for the rest of their life. Can you live with that? If you can, bet. If you can't, don't do it. But everybody be open and honest. Be truthful about where you are with yourself and with the other person, and we'll be all good. And we'll, like Jeff said, we'll cut that number from 75 to 71. Damn it, I'm
gonna
a
give
Trump.
it a hard 70.
Let's go 70.
I'm feeling like 70.
Let's go 70.
70 is even enough.
See?
Hey y'all,
Not
see,
managing expectations.
hey, next week, right back here, 7:00 Wednesday. Gina B, that co-host the Chris the Critic Show, will be hosting my show. I'll be here, but Gina's running the show next week. Come check us out. We love y'all. 7:00 next week. Peace and love.
WIIF